Thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is Chairperson Norman Garden, and it is currently 6:41 p.m., and I would like to call to order the regularly scheduled San Gabriel Planning Commission meeting. At this point, I'd like to turn over the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Vice Chair Klowitter. Tom?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call on Jackie Wong with the city of San Gabriel to please have the roll call.
Chairman. Chair Garden.
Here.
Vice Chair Klowitter.
Here.
Commissioner Liu.
Here.
Commissioner Mamdapurkar.
Here.
And Commissioner Schwartz.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, everybody, tonight's meeting is live streamed on cable channel 3 and our online platforms. Please email all public comments to commdevinfo, that is spelled COMMDEVINFO at sgch.org. Let me repeat that, commdevinfo at sgch.org. No later than the time the item is considered by the Planning Commission tonight. Comments received after items have been considered will not be read into the record. Excuse me. Comments will be read in by Admin Assistant Erica Ortiz for up to 3 minutes each. Agenda items will be introduced by Executive Assistant Jackie Wong. To prevent any overlaps in comments, each commissioner will be called upon to speak.
Our first item on the agenda is the public comment. This is the time set aside for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on items of interest that are not on the agenda, but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the Planning Commission cannot answer any question or take any action until such time as the matter may appear as an item on a future agenda.
All right, thank you. So, Erica, do we have any public comments? And if we do, could you please read them to us?
We have received none.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the second item on the agenda, consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar are considered routine, and recommendations will be approved in one motion unless a member of the Planning Commission or audience requests separate discussion.
Okay, Commissioners, so we have 5 consent items, the approval of minutes from March 9th. We have the CIP, or the Capital Improvement Program. We have the finding of public convenience or necessity for the Blossom Market Hall. We have the General Plan Housing Element Annual Progress Report from 2019 calendar year. And then we have the General Plan Annual Progress Report for the 2019 calendar year. I hope you've all had an opportunity to review and look at it. And I would like to just ask any of you if there are any items within the material that you've reviewed that you would prefer to pull out or address. Start with you, Jerry.
I'm good with the items.
Thank you. All right, Anag.
I'm good with the items as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Jingbo?
I'm good with items.
Okay, thank you. Tom?
Yeah, I was not here for the last meeting, so all the other items are fine.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying that too. And I'm good with everything as well. So now I'd just like to ask Erica again, have we received any requests from the public to pull any of the items?
No, we have not received any.
Okay, so let's have a motion here. Who would like to make a motion that we approve the consent calendar items?
I will make a motion, Jingbo, to accept the consent
And a second?
calendar item. This is just Commissioner Schwartz. I'll second.
Okay, very good. So, Jackie, I guess you will call our names out and then we will address individually aye or nay.
Okay. Chairman Gordon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cloeter,
Yes.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Mamdapurkar.
Aye.
Thank you. And Commissioner Schwartz.
Aye.
Vote passes by 5-0.
Okay, very good. I think at this time we want to call on our planning manager, Jerry Guarazzino, and he will give us the instructions on the public hearing process.
Good evening, and thank you for participating and turning into tonight's Public Planning Commission meeting. My name is Jerry Garcino, Interim Planning Manager, and we have 3 public hearing items for you tonight. Copies of the agenda and the staff reports for tonight's hearings are available on the city's website, www.sangabrielcity.com. If you wish to speak on any of the items that are not the applicant, please email the public comments to comdevinfo@sgch.org, no later than the time the item is considered for Planning Commission tonight. Comments received after the items have been considered will not be read into the record. Any decision made by the Planning Commission tonight is appealable to the City Council. The deadline for filing an appeal application concerning a decision made tonight is Tuesday, May 26th. Otherwise, any decision made tonight will be effective on Wednesday, May the 27th. If you wish to appeal an application, please contact the project planner for the application and the applicable fee. For each item tonight, staff will kick off with a presentation of the item, and then it will be the applicant's turn to present to the commission. Then we will open the public hearing for a period, and the recording secretary will begin recording aloud the public comments that have been received during the hearing. Each comment will be read for up to a total of 3 minutes. After the public comments are read, the applicant is provided an opportunity to rebut if they choose. Prior to the closing of the public hearing, the commission may ask questions of staff or the city attorney. However, once the public hearing is closed, the opportunity for public comment has ended. Chair, thank you, and we now are ready to introduce the first case this evening.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. So starting with our first public hearing item, which is planning case numbers PL-14-136 and variance 19-002, a tentative tract map number 61475, and setback variance. This is for the address of 235 South Arroyo Drive. The applicant is Alex Chang with Arroyo Village Development. The presentation will be brought to us by Senior Planner Matt Chang. Matt, go ahead.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Commission. The item before you tonight is a 41-unit residential condominium development, as well as the applicant is requesting a setback variance. If you can go to slide 2, this is the site map of the project site. The project site is approximately 1.32 acres and is located on the west side of South Arroyo Drive. And there are 3 parcels within this project site. They are within the city of Alhambra boundary. And if you go to slide number 3, please. And this is an aerial picture of the project site. And the Royal Wash is about 60 feet wide easement. It's bisecting the project site. If you can go to slide number 4, please. This is the subject site looking at south. This is a picture taken from south of Royal Drive, looking at south of the project. And to the left-hand side is a piece portion that's on the right side of Royal Drive, Alhambra Wash. And the majority of the site will be actually across from the wash. You can see from this picture, there's the existing house across from the wash, and the majority of the development will be actually across from the wash. Please go to slide number 5, please. And this is the subject side looking to the west, which is on the west side, there are several Alhambra single-family residences on the west side of the project site. And the single-family residences on the Alhambra side are situated on a higher elevation. So that's why this picture is taken from a lower elevation looking at Alhambra single-family residence. Please go to slide number 6. And this is the project side. This is a picture standing in the middle of the project side looking north. The house you can see in the middle, that's the existing residence that will be demolished as part of this construction. Please go to slide number 7. And for this entitlement, the applicant is requesting the Planning Commission to review the tentative track map as well as the setback variance. If the project is approved by the commission, then the project itself will need to go to Design Review Commission for the precise plan of design, which is the architectural component of the project. And the project will also go to Alhambra Design Review Board for any portion of the project that's within the city of Alhambra jurisdiction. Please go to slide number 8. Staff would like to provide a brief project history. A more detailed project history is included in the staff report, but for the PowerPoint presentation, staff would provide a brief summary. In 2014, the tentative track map application was submitted. And in 2015, there were 2 community meetings held regarding this project. And in January of last year, the bridge was approved by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And in August of last year, a variance application was submitted to the city. And in October of 2019, staff released the CEQA documents for public review. And in January of this year, the final MMD was released. Please go to slide number 9. Staff has reviewed this project and found the project is consistent with the following goals of St. Gabriel General Plan, which is land use element goal 1.4, housing element goal 2.1, housing element goal 2.2, and housing element goal 2.4. Please go to slide number 10. The project also is in compliance with the Mission District objectives, including providing for higher density development in the Mission District, allow for balanced development that minimize environmental and physical impact to the city, as well as encourage the development of underutilized sites with the highest and best use. Please go to slide number 11. Staff has reviewed the project in accordance with the Mission District Development Standards. For maximum density, the project site could potentially accommodate up to 46 units. However, this project is proposing 41 units. For maximum lot coverage, the maximum requirement is 60%, and the proposed project is 28.4%. The maximum building height in Mission District R3 zone is 48 feet, and the proposed project is 47 feet and 9 inches. Please go to slide number 12. On setback, the front yard setback is 15. The proposed project is meeting the front yard setback. For the side yard setback to the north, it requires 20. However, the project only provides 15. Therefore, this side yard setback will need a variance approval. For the side yard setback to the south, the project provides 87 and 11 inches. And for the rear, which is the west portion, the requirement is 41.7 feet, but the project only provides 20 feet. So therefore, the north side yard setback as well as the rear setback will need a variance approval. As for open space and parking, the project itself, it does meet the municipal code Mission District specific standard. Please go to slide number 13. Staff include this picture as part of the staff report for easier reference of which one is considered the front, the side, the rear. And staff has reviewed the project and believe that the frontage along Arroyo Drive should be considered the front yard. And the rear yard, which is facing the Alhambra R1 residence, should be considered the rear. And side, which is north, facing adjacent to Hampton Court, and south side, which is the turnaround area, is another side yard area. For this particular project, the applicant is requesting the rear yard setback, which is to the top of this picture, as well as the side yard setback to the north, which is to the right-hand side of this picture. Please go to slide number 14. For this project, city has hired Michael Baker as our CEQA consultant, and they prepared the draft initial study as well as M&D in accordance with the CEQA guidelines. The draft IS M&D was circulated to the public review between September 9 of last year to October 31st. And a final M&D was released January of this year, and final M&D is consisting of the draft initial study M&D, responses to all the comments received, as well as mitigation measure, which is mitigation, monitoring, and reporting program. Please go to slide number 15. This is to provide a summary of the final M&D. All the impacts have been evaluated in accordance with the CEQA guidelines, and staff as well as the consultant identified 18 mitigation measures. All the impacts were determined to be less than significant. 13 written comments were received during the public review period, and as part of the final M&D, those comments are we provide responses to the 13 comments. And like staff mentioned before, the final IS and M&D was released in January of this year. Please go to slide number 16. For public noticing, staff provide mailing notices to all property owners and tenants within a 500-foot radius. The applicant also posted 2 signage at the project site, one by Arroyo Drive and another one by Hampton Court in the Hampton Court in Alhambra. Planning Commission agenda was posted at City Hall as well as on the city website, and the newspaper notice was advertised in the San Gabriel Sun on April 30 of this year. Please go to slide number 17. Staff has reviewed this project and believe staff can make findings to support the tentative track map findings, and the specific language of finding are listed in your staff report. Please go to slide number 18. San Gabriel Municipal Code Section 153-261 requires that in order to grant a variance, the Planning Commission must make all of the following findings related to the project. And the specific finding and staff's reasoning for supporting are listed in the staff report. Please go to slide number 19. In conclusion, staff is recommending the Planning Commission to approve a resolution of the Planning Commission to adopt the MND and MNRP, which is Mitigation, Monitoring, and Reporting Program, approve PL 14-136, a tentative track map, and VAR 19-002, setback variance for the proposed project. This concludes staff's presentation. Staff's ready for any questions.
Okay, Matt, very good, thank you. I'll start with Jerry, if you got any clarifying questions that you would like to raise.
Not right now. I would like to hear from the developer.
Okay, great, thank you. How about you, Anag?
I did have some questions. Give me one moment. I did email them to the staff. Had a quick question about how the hydrology around Hampton Court and the surrounding areas, how the water conveyed, because right now our project site is one of the lowest points, and what's the plan for when the project is completed? That's one question.
Actually, Anag, that's a great question because that came up, I think, in the comments from the city of Alhambra. So, Matt, I hope you can answer that.
Before staff responds some of the question, staff would like to let the commission know that we have other staff members from the city to answer any other questions. We have staff on the fire department, our public works department, and also we also have our SQL consultant from Michael Baker International to respond any SQL related questions. As well as staff like to mention that also staff prepared a supplemental memo, and it was distributed to the commissioner this afternoon. Purpose of the supplemental memo is to provide transparency of all the correspondence received after the packet was delivered, and during that time, and also between this afternoon, so we can provide all the parties what all the public comments were received during that time. And staff also would like to bring Angela Chen from our public works department to address some of the questions raised by Commissioner Manda Picard, and some other questions maybe have to leave it to the applicant team to respond.
Hi, good evening,
Angela?
Commissioners. Oh, yes, good evening, Commissioner. I'm Angela from Public Works. I'm the principal engineer. So to answer your question, if you look at slide number 5, that's how, you know, the lowest area is the site, and the highest area, I believe, is the Alhambra site. So existing, the site is accepting the drainage. In the proposed conceptual grading and drainage plan, the site are still accepting the drainage. So what it does when there's a sloping down to the site, and the developer or the civil engineer designer proposed to have a bridge collect all the water draining to there and to the infiltration chamber. So the developer and the civil engineers, if you're here, could you be more specific on how it drains to the infiltration chambers?
Hello. Yeah, this is John Wang from. Hello, Angela. This is John Wang from TriTech Engineer. We're the civil engineer.
Oh, so sorry. This is Matt Cheng. We'll have the applicant respond a little bit later. So right now it's for commissioner question for staff. So we'll have the applicant respond a little bit later. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll just wait to hear sorry, this is Commissioner Munderberger. I'll just wait to hear when the owner representative speaks, then we can probably go forward with that question. I guess I'll hold off on my questions until later, if that's all right, Chairman.
Yeah, that's absolutely an okay. Thank you, Junbo.
I have a hard time to tell. Is the project all on San Gabriel side? Which part of the project is on the Alhambra side? Is any property is on the Alhambra side?
This is Matt Cheng. Yeah, this is Matt Cheng, Commissioner Liu. On page 2 of the staff report, there's a map showing the parcel that within Alhambra. Portion within Alhambra are 3 parcels and totally approximately 5,000 square feet total. And on page 2 of the staff report, I provide a color picture. Hopefully, it'll be easier for the commission and public to understand. The street, the Alhambra Wash, and the portion in Alhambra.
Jimbo, I believe the total site area is 1.32 acres. 1.16 acres belongs in San Gabriel, and that other 0.16 or whatever are the 3 pieces Matt's referring to that you can see on the colored map that belong in the city of Alhambra.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Tom, any questions?
No questions at this time.
Okay. Hey, Matt, I've got a question. I don't know if you can answer it right away, or maybe it's better we wait until Alex Chang comes up. But my question, I just want a little better clarification on it. They're kind of linked. It's 2 questions, but one is how the 48-foot determining height was, because this is a sloping terrain, and I kind of want to know where are the benchmarks. You mentioned something like 426, so I think 473, but I kind of want, I couldn't tie 426 to anything that was a livable area. So I'm just kind of curious about that one. And then the other question, and I probably could have found it on the tentative track map, but I just kind of wanted to know between the low point on the site, which I'm guessing is probably near the 420, which is just probably within the right-of-way area of the wash, and then what is the high point where it meets neighboring Alhambra City?
Okay, Chair, to answer your first question, the building height under the Mission District specific plan, there's a specific definition how to measure building height, and the project within Mission District's physical plan, the building has measured vertical distance measured from the average level of the finished grade at the lowest point of the building to the highest point of the structure. So staff has reviewed the project.
Oh, and that's where you got your 426 then.
Yes.
Got it.
And different municipal code and also Valley Boulevard space plan, they have a different way of measuring, but within Mission District's space plan, there's a specific definition how to measure building height. Therefore, since this project is within Mission District's business plan, staff is using the Mission District definition to measure the building height.
Correct. So then, if that's the average, does that mean the high point surrounding or, touching this, the city of Alhambra, is that 432 then?
Is the chair looking at the grading page?
Yeah, I'm just
or
looking
the
at
tenant? The Alhambra portion to the west are single-family houses, and they're at a higher elevation. They're at various degrees. Some are 440, some are. There's some low points are 435.
Okay.
But the property on Hampton Court, which is on the north side, they have a different elevation too. Staff will refer to the applicant and their civil engineer, which is any grading difference question.
Sure, but
Chairman Norm?
roughly. Yeah.
It's Jingbo. I have a similar question on the Mission Drive side compared to the site, the project site which is at Arroyo Drive. What is the elevation adjacent to this property on the Mission Drive?
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too, Jingbo. I think it's around 420, but I think maybe as Matt says, we wait till Alex Chang comes up, and then his team could probably clarify all that for us.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I think, Matt, thank you very much. And I think now is probably the time to ask the project applicant if they would like to come forward. Perhaps it's Alex or maybe with his team, and would like to address the commissioners at this point. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Garden. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Again, good evening, Chair Garden and members of the commission. My name is David Gutierrez, and I am Platinum Connection, representing the owner and developer. I would first like to thank staff for the continued effort in bringing this project to the point of this public hearing. Over the course of many years, there have been a number of staff members who have been involved with this project, but as of late, Matt Chang has taken the lead in shepherding this project through the process, as well as communicating with our team members. On behalf of myself, as well as our team, I would like to thank Matt for his hard work and dedication to this project. There are several points that I would like to make as a part of this intro that for the most part are documented in the staff report. Over the course of the many years that this project has been in the queue, there have been many eyes on its progress. That it included staff members from both the cities of Alhambra and San Gabriel, cursory review by design review of the city of San Gabriel, as well as members of the community surrounding the project site. There have been a number of plan revisions that have taken place. Most importantly, with the reduction of the number of units proposed to be built. Although the density allowances provide for construction of 46 dwelling units, Mr. Lack agreed to reduce the proposed unit count from 46 to 41, resulting in the elimination of one floor. This decision was not arbitrary, but rather as a result of concerns raised at community meetings by members of the community. Additionally, Mr. Lack, at his own expense, has agreed to provide for the construction of an emergency access gate for first responders needing access to the wooded area located at the southwest corner of the project, which lies within the boundaries of the city of Alhambra. In September of 2019, at the request of community members, San Gabriel City staff agreed to extend the public review period of the CEQA document by 3 weeks, from October 8th to October 31st. Once again, in an effort to provide additional time for public review and comment of the ISMND. With regard to the scope of the project, I would specifically spotlight the information in the staff report affirming that the scope of this project is envisioned as part of the general plan as a location for high-speed family development, in addition to the advancement of the goals associated to the general plan specific to the land use element, as well as achieving at least 3 goals, the housing element. Finally, I would point out that this project is being constructed within the boundaries of the city of San Gabriel. Although there are 3 parcels that are located within the city of Alhambra, the project scope within the Alhambra portion is limited to landscaping, retaining walls, and a portion of the driveway. In short, this is a San Gabriel project, hence the reason that the city of San Gabriel has taken the position of lead agency. With reference to the information contained in the staff reports, as well as the findings and suggested mitigations contained in the ISMND, the developer is in agreement with the findings. Chair Garden, I believe that you and the commissioners have been provided a list of our team members that are available to answer any questions, and with your permission, I will be happy to assist with directing any questions to the appropriate resource. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, David. That's great. Thank you for adding this and clarifying some detail. And I'll go back in reverse order just with a couple of commissioner questions, and I'll going to start with myself. And again, and I think Commissioner Jingbo Liu chimed in. Just want to get some clarification on low and high points. I think, Matt pretty much explained how the relative starting level was created. I'm just trying to put things in context from a heightened scale, and I appreciate and recognize, that there has been a level removed. But if some of the existing conditions could be quickly outlined, that's where my question was for clarification.
Understood. So I think what I'd like to do to better address your question is the question first, Alex. Alex? Hello, Alex, are you online?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Chair Garden,
yes,
again, rephrase, re-ask your question.
Okay. Yes, David. All right. Hi, Alex. This is
Hi.
Norm. Hey, look, just trying to get some existing topographic elevation conditions. What's the low point? What's the high point roughly? I do understand that at the, the high point is, as Matt pointed out, is on the western edge, which I believe is considered a side yard, and then it starts to slope down as you come along the northern edge, and eventually you meet Hampton Court there. But if you could just clarify that, and then how you targeted the kind of base elevation of 426, which then determines the project height to be within the the mission district specific plans allotted or permitted 48 feet.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Chairman. The best way to explain this is if you have a drawing, turn it to CA 4.1. And the highest point that measured was 431.5, and the lowest point that we use is 418. Okay, so therefore,
just a minute. What sheet number?
A 4.1 shows on the exterior elevation. Are you at that sheet?
Okay.
Yeah. If you are at A 4.1, look at the east elevation. This will give you general view of how the Royal driveway entrance is, which you will see mostly the parking area. The highest point that we're taking is noted on the plan 431.5. The lowest point that we're using is the grade at the 418. So for the finished grade difference, we take the average of the two elevation, which is 426.
Got it.
So from that point on, with the building height added to it, therefore it's 47 feet and 90.
Yeah. And then I'm also noticing on your elevation A, I would assume these are the residents on Vega abutting the property. They look like they could be at elevation 441.5.
Yes.
Okay, hey, thank you very much. That answers my questions, and I'm just looping back around reverse order. Tom, do you have any questions while we have David and Alex and the other team members?
None at this time, Norm, thanks.
Okay, Jingbo?
Oh, yes. Well, I pretty much answered my questions. I was more interested at the intersection of Padilla and the Mission. Where is that elevation, and where is the elevation of Main Street and Hampton Court? When I went to the site, I realized the Main Street is very high compared to the site, almost like 20 feet above the site. I assume my assumption is correct. And also on Mission Drive, the intersection of Mission and Padilla is also higher, much higher than Arroyo side. So I'm interested to know what I see this project from Mission Drive. I assume that Mission Drive is another 10 foot or so higher than the 420. Is that a 420 Arroyo? It's my question.
Yeah, thank you, David. Alex?
I think that's probably a question that probably should be directed to Alex. Alex, can you address that?
If I understood the question correct, the Royal side, the northern elevation is the southern part. So that it come down, it will come down towards the lower point of the street, and that's why we have this bridge entry at the intersection of the alley, aligned with the alley. Did I
Yeah, I'm also interested at the elevation at the Mission Drive and Padilla Street, that intersection. You know, the Mission Drive is the main street. It's a whole city block away from that, but it's from my observation, that elevation is higher, quite higher than the Arroyo Drive. Am I correct?
the Mission Drive.
This is David. Commissioner, you are correct. The grade at Mission and Padilla is higher level than the grade at Padilla and Arroyo.
It looks like
significantly higher.
significantly higher.
Yeah.
All right, that answers my question.
Okay.
Yeah, does anybody know? Is it like 20 feet? What is it? And then I thought Jingbo had a good question about, does anybody have a reference point to what the elevation is on Main Street?
My
Main and
observation
Mission are probably
20, 30 feet higher.
That sounds about right. And then Main Street would be just a tad higher than that, not by much.
Yeah, we don't have a survey to, answer that specific question.
Hello?
Hi, this is John Wang from TriTech. I'm the civil engineer on the project. Can I jump in for to answer some of the questions?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello.
Go ahead, Jingbo. Got the civil engineer here.
Yes. I'm looking at the survey right now. We do have some shots on Main Street. It's on Main Street and Hampton Court intersection is roughly around 450.
Okay.
So which is about 15 feet, around 12 to 15 feet higher than the end of the Hampton Court.
But literally 30 feet above where roughly Arroyo is, right?
From Arroyo side, yeah, we're talking about 30 feet, exactly.
Yeah. And then I'm guessing Mission is probably 246, 247.
Unfortunately, I don't have any shots on Mission side, which is a little bit too far.
Thank you. Jingbo, does that help answer your question?
Yeah. It answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Any other question you got?
No, I don't have any questions for now.
Okay, thanks. Anand?
Okay, I'm gonna go back to my hydrology question about how the stormwater is going to be moving around the site as well as the adjacent locations in Alhambra. How I see right now, this project is the lowest point in the area, and how will it continue to convey water to either to the storm drains or to the wash?
Yes, I can answer that question. Again, this is John Wang from TriTech. The existing condition on Hampton Court, there is a culvert at the end of Hampton Court. There's a pipe connecting that culvert to the wash. For the proposed project, we're going to keep the existing culvert and redirect using a 12-inch pipe connect to Alhambra wash directly. So all the drainage runoff from Hampton Court will be directly connected to the Alhambra Wash, which is the same condition as the existing one, just a redirect the pipe connection.
Okay, great. And how about Vega Street or Vega?
From Vega Street, hold on, let me put it up. Vega Street is actually to the west of our property. So the existing drainage on Vega Street will be sheet flow into the wash as the existing condition, which is not affecting our project.
Okay, so their pipe runs underneath your project or adjacent to it?
Right, goes on Hampton Court, the pipe will be going along our property line and connect to Alhambra Wash.
I guess my concern is if Vegas, since Vegas outside of your project scope, but it may cross in, the pipe may cross into your project site, and that it continue to be protected if it's not being relocated or moved.
On Vega Street is roughly about it's roughly 400 feet. Not 400 feet. This is roughly 120 feet to the west of our property.
Okay, I guess my curiosity is how does that pipe travel? It doesn't travel. So you're saying it doesn't travel into your project site?
Not from my Vega Street, no.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have another set of questions regarding ingress and egress. So
okay,
yeah, go for it. Go for it on that.
So, thank you, Chair. So currently, the way the project is in its current condition, access to the project site is through Hampton, correct?
No, the access is from the bridge across Royal Drive.
No, I mean current conditions at this moment.
Oh, existing condition. Yes, you are correct.
Existing condition, yes. So my question is, when you start construction, will Hampton be one of your access points until the bridge is completed for moving in and out of the project site?
For the construction, I will refer that question to David.
There is no, at the time, there's no demo plan that has been completed. Before we can initiate our demo plan, obviously we have to be entitled, but a part of the demo plan will also bring with it the designated haul route that the City of San Gabriel and or the City of Alhambra has already in place. So it's a little premature, Commissioner, to be able to answer that, only because those conditions and requirements will have to be as a part of the approved staging, demo, and construction plan.
Okay, all right, so that would move us forward in another phase. I guess my last question is...
You know what, Anag, you asked, that's a really great question you asked, and I just kind of want to follow up, David, if you don't mind. I think where Anag was going is, ideally you do not impede within Alhambra. This is a San Gabriel City project, so I guess in my mind, that bridge ought to come first, and that becomes part of the haul route, and that's the primary load, if you will, during the construction phasing.
You're absolutely correct, Chair Garden. The bridge will have to be built first because the City of Alhambra has insisted that there be no vehicular ingress and egress associated with this approved project other than to access the project for emergency purposes, and the only ingress would be pedestrian related.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, Anag, Back to you, sorry.
No, I appreciate it. That's the answer I wanted to hear, or at least go towards that direction. So my last question is related to the bridge. Is the bridge going to be owned and operated by the property owner, or is it going to be turned over to the city of San Gabriel?
I may answer that if with your permission. The bridge is going to be privately owned, and the ownership will be by the HOA.
Okay, so I'm assuming the structural engineer or someone will be able to provide a maintenance plan to the city when that time comes, when this project goes into construction?
Again, an excellent question. As a part of the approval process by the United States Army Corps of Engineers, they have approved the O&M manual, which clearly states the requirements for maintenance and inspection requirements. Appendix A-6 and a third-party agreement with the HOA under Section 2.6, Appendix 7 is also a part of that. So that was required as a necessity that be put in as a part of our proposal to Army Corps, and was accepted when as a part of their ultimate approval and the issuance of the permit.
Okay, great. I have no further questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Hey, Jerry, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gutierrez, if I read the plan correctly, you've got 600 square foot one-bedroom units, 900 square foot two bedrooms, and 1 3-bedroom unit. How did you determine that mix?
Commissioner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer that to the architect.
All right.
Alex?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Basically, it's picked up on the market study. I believe all the 2 bedrooms is desirable in the area. So therefore, we would like to have a mostly 2 bedroom. We do have a 1 unit that is slightly larger and that could potentially for Mr. Lack will be at least at the time we're designing. We would like to be on the top floor with that 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom unit. That's how we decide the unit mix.
Okay. I'm concerned about unit 2 on every floor. It's an interior unit. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Well, I'm wondering if that's going to be less desirable because it's an interior, excuse me, an interior unit compared to the other units on each floor.
Yes,
am I missing? Am I seeing this wrong, or am I seeing it right?
You said correctly. The plan provides flexibility, and we have a lot of different floor plans. This plan, it has the central courtyard when you're looking at from the unit. Other units have the view to the outside, to the different orientation. And except this one has the internal courtyard view. One of the bedrooms, if you look at it, has a window open to the south end that be able to see the exterior view orientation.
Okay. Okay. Because it's the same layout on every floor. So, and then another question, that some of the commenters asked is whether or not these are all going to be market rate units, or will any of them be affordable units?
At this time, we did not design it that way. No.
So they'll all be market rate units. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have a market study that tells you how much these units are going to run? How much you're going to charge for the units?
At this time, we don't have that answer because it's been a few years, since 2013 when we started till now, and the market has been changing. So I don't have that answer for you now, Commissioner.
Okay. Then, in terms of landscape, the plan, you're going to put in mature trees, or how exactly are you figuring out the tree plan?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The planting plan for the project.
Can you repeat the question again, please? I did not hear you.
Yes, the plan for the planting for landscaping.
Yes. The planting for landscaping.
So,
okay.
You're taking out some trees. How mature are the trees you're going to put in?
Okay.
Schwartz. This is David.
Would you like he can speak for?
I think Alex. I think David is taking charge here.
Commissioner Schwartz and Alex, we do have our landscape architect available, and I think it would be appropriate if he could answer your question.
Okay, that's fine.
Hi. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Kevin. I'm the landscape architect for this project. Your question is how many trees you have to remove?
What size trees are you putting in?
We total number we put in like 60 trees on the site, the new trees, which is including 4 36-inch backs, 8 36-inch backs. I'm sorry, and 24 24-inch backs. Also 36-inch backs, 15 gallons.
Okay.
And you're keeping, there's 1 or 2 oak trees, right? California oaks that are on site.
Yes, exactly. We keep 12 trees on the site along the east side of the properties.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed there's one really big one that's in the Alhambra city.
Yes.
Behind that parking lot on the northern edge.
Right. On the northeast corners, that's the most biggest one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we see these 2 trees, yes.
All right. Thank you. Norma, those are my questions.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
You know what?
Hey,
Thanks
Norm.
to all the commissioners and David.
Norm?
Thank you. Yes.
Norm, this is Tom. Can I jump in here for a minute?
Oh, sure. Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a quick question, and that refers back to the setbacks and the variance. And have we tried to plan this lot with the approved without the variance, with the approved setbacks? And if so, what did we come up with?
Vice Chair Kluwitter, David. Originally, there's kind of a double answer for your question. Prior to me coming on with this project, the original site plan that was submitted to the city of San Gabriel, I'm taking it back probably to 2013 or 2014, showed that the front of the project was actually Hampton Court. That's how the plan was originally submitted, that as the front of the project, which then satisfied all of the setbacks, both side yards as well as front and rear yards. Then there was a change of staff in the city of San Gabriel. Actually, there's been several changes in staff, but with the most recent change, the current staff, of which at least one individual is no longer there, opined that the frontage or the front of the property should actually be considered as that area facing the wash. So again, we went from a project in compliance based on how it was submitted and how it was interpreted and accepted by the city as approvable to a project that now would require variances on two sides of the project, again, based on the change of opinion, if that makes sense to you.
Okay, so let's go back in time. How many units were we looking at on that original plan that was facing Hampton Court?
46.
Say it again?
46, 46.
No. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. Commissioners, if we can, like to move forward, we still have to hear from quite a few more people. Thank you for these initial questions and clarifications. And David, to you and your team, thank you. We may need you again, so please stand by. And I think it's important right now to bring Erica back, because I am sure we have a ton of feedback. The city has been receiving via email from various probably residents from both Alhambra and San Gabriel. And I think Erica, and also Matt and Jerry Guaracino, you guys, I think you've also been receiving probably more emails, and maybe there have been some current ones coming in while the Planning Commission hearing has been ongoing. So and Norma Tavares, the city attorney, also weigh in, help us out. What's the best way to facilitate all of this and for us to be able to hear and understand, where the residents are coming from?
Yeah, this is Norma. So yeah, let's go ahead and ask Erica to read the comments that have come in after the 3:30 cutoff. The comments that were received prior to that have already been posted to the website and have been circulated to the commissioners.
Yeah.
It might be helpful. Let's have Erica go ahead and read the public comments up to 3 minutes each. And if there are issues like this big picture that aren't addressed in that category of comments, it might be helpful just in summative form to highlight some of the public comments, just for the record, that came in as part of that supplemental. Again, just big picture. That would be helpful as well. Commissioner Garden, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that sounds great. Erica?
Yes. Okay, I will begin. From Kai Al-Qadi, dear Planning Commission, I strongly object the approval of planning case number L14136, tentative track map number 61475, variance VAR 19002, and I oppose the variance allowance of side and rear yard setback reduction at 235 South Arroyo Drive. There are many reasons. One of that is it violates general plan land use element goal 1.4, which encourages the sensible transition of properties in multifamily neighborhoods and realizing their potential to provide quality housing opportunities. The truth to the fact is, as seen in the Alhambra zoning map below, the 235 Arroyo Drive lot, the triangle area as indicated by the arrows, nestles solely, completely, and without buffering within the R1 residential neighborhood of Alhambra, and is instead separated and buffered from the San Gabriel MDR3 multifamily neighborhood by the 60-foot wide Alhambra Wash and easement. The 235 Arroyo Drive Arroyo Village project is inside the Alhambra R1 neighborhood yellow section and totally outside the San Gabriel MDR3 multifamily neighborhood to the east. The idea of sensible transition of properties in multifamily neighborhoods is foolhardy and unacceptable, especially when the Arroyo Village project will prove to the descent's biggest and the tallest residential project within the Mission District and across the Alhambra neighborhood short of Alhambra downtown area. Just because the project size is zoned Arroyo Residential MDR3 does not entitle the project the maximum build-out per maximum capacity allowed. Clearly, this is the case where maximum build-out under MDR3 will violate nearly everything else that has to do zoning. Abrupt transitioning from the 235 South Arroyo Drive project, one of the densest, biggest, and the tallest residential projects in San Gabriel and across the Alhambra neighborhood to small single-family home neighborhood in Alhambra, and within feet from one another is both unconscionable and not consistent with general plan land use element goal 1.4, a granting of rear, side, and front yard setback reductions. Variances requests will further expose the total lack of sensible transition of properties by family neighborhoods in this particular case and will clearly violate general plan use element goal 1.4, especially when this project also lacks the inclusion of any affordable units. To conclude, the Planning Commission must reject 235 South Arroyo Drive setback reduction variances request. A granting of rear, side, and front yard setback reduction variances request will violate general plan use limit goal 1.4, among many other violations. We challenge anyone who can honestly and materially support any claim of the smallest hint of sensible transition in this case. Moving on to the next one. This one is from Kawi Al-Qadi. Dear Planning Commission, I strongly object the approval of planning case number PL14136, tentative track map number 61475, variance BAR 19-002. And I object and oppose the variance allowance of side and rear yard setback reduction 235 South Arroyo Drive. There are many reasons. One is that it violates general and use element goal 1.6, which ensures that new development is appropriately and sensitively buffered from its neighbors. A repeated look at this visual 3D Google view of the project clearly shows a lack of factual basis, the total lack of honesty with the developer's claim of consistent claims. The goal 1.6, when claiming the proposed condominium development would complement the surrounding residential uses. Considering the enormous height and massive bulk of the 235 South Arroyo Drive, Arroyo Village project, the only way for this particular new development to be appropriately and sensitively buffered from the low density R1 single family Alhambra homes will be space and distances. Lots and lots of space and distances. The truth is, even a compliance of minimum side yard setback of 20 feet required, 15 feet proposed, and a compliance of minimum rear yard setback of 41.7 feet required, 21 proposed, will be grossly inadequate in making sure that this monstrosity of a project can be appropriately and sensitively buffered from its Alhambra neighbors. The 235 South Arroyo Drive building is so tall and so close to its adjacent Alhambra neighbors that these neighbors at their backyard will be unable to see the sky without tilting their head straight up. Picture is worth 1,000 words. And the 3D Google view of the proposed project clearly illustrates that. To conclude, no amount of landscaping will be appropriate and sufficient to buffer the project from the Alhambra R1 small single-family home neighborhood, with its near absence of distance with the proposed rear and side setbacks. The project clearly is not consistent with 1.6, and Planning Commission must reject 235 South Arroyo Drive setback reduction variances request. A granting of side and front yard setback reduction variances request will violate general plan use element goal 1.6, among many other violations. Clearly, Kau Alkaidi, S. Vega resident. The next one is from Suam Liu. Dear Planning Commission, the development that is asking for a variance will run 100 feet along my backyard at 110 Vega Street. The development drawings do not show the true size of what is being built. The developer lists the parking as semi-subterranean. The parking garage is not semi-hidden. The setback the developer is asking for will put the garage 7 feet from my garden and fruit trees. I will be able to see the whole garage while standing in my backyard. I have fruit trees and a garden that I would like to enjoy without listening to car alarms, horns, and engines going off. Without the proper setback, the noise and height of the building will take away my privacy and quiet enjoyment. No one wants to stand in their backyard and feel like they are next to parking structure. This is exactly how my neighbors and I will feel without the proper setback. There is a large oak tree on my property that hangs over the development. The large branches hang over 15 to 18 feet over my property line. If the variance is allowed, the branches will be cut back 7 to 8 feet. This will cause harm to the oak tree by shifting the weight to one side. This may cause the tree to lean to one side and fall over. I request Planning Commission deny the developer's request for a variance. Thank you. Song Lu, 110 South Vega Street, Alhambra, California, 18018. The next one is from Ashley Camille Hernandez. Public comment to the Planning Commission regarding PL 14136. Ashley Hernandez, 116 North Delmar Avenue. I'm asking that my objection to the Arroyo Drive project and the requested variances be read into the record of tonight's public hearing. I am a resident of San Gabriel and a doctoral candidate at UCI studying redevelopment and community engagement in cities. I make that point because I am interested in the processes of development and the ways in which communities respond. I am troubled that in a single resolution, the Planning Commission is seeking to adopt a mitigated negative declaration, approve the mitigation, monitoring, and reporting program, and unilaterally accept the 13 separate findings required to grant the tentative track map and the requested setback variances. This project stands to fundamentally change the character of the neighborhood and Mission District. It will stand as precedent. If this project does not merit careful and individual consideration of the governing bodies, I am hard-pressed to think of a scenario in San Gabriel that would. I would ask that you deny the applicant's request, set a better precedent of giving each of the important steps of development the proper process. I believe that this allows for better community engagement and an opportunity for concerns and values to be expressed. A packaged approach to development will always disenfranchise because the Mission District matters to the city and region as a whole. There is even greater reason for a more careful and deliberate process. Hernandez. The next one is from Ram Ramaswamy. Dear members of the City Planning Commission, my name is Ram Ramaswamy and live in the San Gabriel Valley area. It is a good news for any community, especially in current difficult times, and would like to mention that such projects need to be encouraged since they will boost the local economy among others. As an individual, I am looking forward for an opportunity for buying a condo as well in future. I welcome and extend my support to the proposed project at 235 South Arroyo Drive within the city guidelines. The next one is from Tanya Lubicic. Public comment, agenda item 3A, 235 South Arroyo, PO 14136 and VAR 19002. Tanya Lubicic. Good evening, Commissioners. I am submitting my public comment in opposition to the variances requested for 235 South Arroyo Drive. As Chair of the Historic Preservation and Cultural Resource Commission, I am asking for collegial consideration of my concerns regarding this project. There are few places in San Diego where these concerns are more essential than the Mission District. My objections are as follows. Process. Number one, process. This project came to my commission for comment only. I voiced concerns about the MND and the fact that this some of the last relatively untouched land in the district, if not the city. I think we need to proceed with tremendous caution and deliberation. I do not believe that the resolution staff recommends for approval does that. I believe that the MND should be separated from the TTM and the variance. Each of these should be considered separately and individually. Number two, scale. I object to the setback variance on point of scale finding 2. While there may be precedent for smaller setbacks on South Arroyo, none of the existing buildings bring the scale and mass of this proposed project. In the comments before my commission, I objected that the backyards of single-family residences seem to be used as a setback rather than the design of the project itself. Number 3, height. The exposed garage is not subterranean. It is visible. It is a visible ground floor and should be counted as. The interpretative semantics applied to this project neither represent nor respect the intent of the Mission District specific plan. Number 4, the Mission District specific plan exists to protect the historic character and features of the Mission District. The language of the plan and adopting ordinance is proscriptive, and the interpretive permissions granted to the project lot shape should not go first. Instead, knowing the uniqueness of the district and the law, the project scope and design should have worked to meet the challenge of the place rather than the goals for profit. I ask that the Planning Commission demand better of projects that fall within the boundaries of the Mission District. There are corridors in San Gabriel suited for 5-story developments. The Mission District is not such a place. Preservation of the character of the Mission District and development done in respect to our historic neighborhoods and National Register monuments cannot play second fiddle to maximizing FAR, height, and density in new developments. Here, the community must come first. Let's see. Okay. This one is from Deborah Kilgore, 245 South Arroyo Drive. Concerns that need to be addressed. Number 1, what are safety issues regarding a condominium with parking for 100 cars that the driveway opens to a street with no sidewalk on either side and safety of adults, children, seniors, and pets walking every day in the street? No discussion of this one on the MND proposal. Number 2, height of the building above the limit of the City of San Gabriel and not corrected 2013 till this year 2020. Changes being approximately 1 to 2 feet per floor, including garage and each floor. Number 3, most of the property was purchased in 2005. Owners knew that variances would be required back then and knew the variances would be approved. We continue to change variances all the time. Why have them? I have lived next door to this property for over 20 years. I have watched this project since its conception in 2005. January of 2019, it had not been approved. Multiple problems and issues to be addressed. Residents talking with the planning department and other divisions regarding questions and concerning, especially the last year. The United States Army Corps of Engineers said that it was okay to build a bridge. Look where we are today. Last meeting about this property, the owners met with residents of San Gabriel was in 2015. No information has been shared. Transparency is not a term that Mr. Jack Lack understands. This property has many concerns that residents need answered. It is a project that should be stopped until answers are given. Commissioners, this is a residential area. You want to have this door to your home property line, to property line? Are you concerned about your family and safety issues? This is a project that still to have transparency. The next one is from Mario Pace. Commission members. Name is Mario Pace, a 49-year resident of San Gabriel, and I am against the project at 235 South Arroyo Drive for the following reasons. Number one, the project is clearly too large for that neighborhood. It would dwarf the homes around it and add an unnecessary level of congestion. Number two, these large apartment-style projects, strictly residential and mixed use, are not desirable to the public looking to purchase a home. Look how many similar projects in the area are nowhere near full occupancy. These projects do not make sense, but for some reason, the city approves them. Number three, this project will take a huge amount of time to build and subject the residents nearby to unnecessary noise, traffic, trash, and pollution from the construction of the project for years. Number four, it is undisputable that high-density living, which this project promotes, lead to a rapid spread of the current pandemic in New York. We do not need that here. Number five, finally, for this reason alone, the project should not be approved. The residents in that community do not want it. The next one comes from Isela Bowles. As a longtime stakeholder of the city of San Gabriel, I am writing to express my views of the requested planning case number PL 14136, tentative tract map number 61475, variance 19002, and the variance allowance of side and rear yard setback reductions at 235 Arroyo Drive. As Commissioner, please state very clearly to the public the specific qualifications that this variance meets. It is the opinion and sentiment of many residents that as commissioners, you have been sworn in to see the best interests of the residents of San Gabriel. Therefore, we ask you that you listen to the people, residents, and not the developers, looking out for their own financial interest above the impact of the residents. This variance does not meet the criteria to deviate from our current zoning requirements. Therefore, objection to this project is requested as is massive, interrupted, and impactful to all residents in the city of San Gabriel. Its massive structure does not meet the Gabrielinos' land. I recommend that you deny this request and do not waive as this project goes against our recently historical ordinance. The next one is from Hani Arambula. Dear Planning Commission, I strongly object the action of the Planning Commission to adopt a resolution of the program of the Planning Commission of the City of San Gabriel, California, to adopt the Mitigated Negative Declaration, MND, and Mitigation, Monitoring, and Reporting Program, MMRP, for 235 South Arroyo Drive. I also object approval of variance VAR 19002. The 235 South Arroyo Drive project actually includes 3 Alhambra lots. Even though the lots include no building structure, they nonetheless play a critical and indispensable role to the current project. Furthermore, when the project design is stacked so heavily against Alhambra and so gently on Gabriel, it's possibly legally challengeable to the idea that Alhambra is totally left out by San Gabriel, filer of CEQA, of any participation in the CEQA review process. Responsible agency for Alhambra would have been necessary, but it is not. As the most impacted neighborhood is in Alhambra, Alhambra authorities should need to act at least act at least as a responsible agency in the CEQA review process. San Gabriel and Alhambra Authority should and need to require, as is required by CEQA review, the entire building and not just 3 Alhambra lots to comply with Alhambra general plan and zoning per authority granted and as is required by CEQA review because Alhambra is very heavily impacted. Instead, the project applicant continues to incorrectly and narrowly compliance with Alhambra ordinance through the narrow process of design review on the Alhambra lots only and not required comprehensive CEQA review of the whole project. In this case, Alhambra general plan and zoning compliance, whole project, building included must be met. When this rationale is followed, this project does not comply with the necessary general plan and zoning as required by CEQA review. Alhambra general plan would have required the preserving of long-sustaining Vega Street neighborhood to be shielded from the damaging impacts by the 235 South Arroyo Drive project. Also, per Alhambra zoning, any R3 project next to R1 residences must be more than 2 stories high, a requirement that the Arroyo Village with 5 stories clearly violates. As a resident and mother, I am highly concerned for safety. How safe is building a bridge that will go over the wash? Are the walls of the wash able to sustain the bridge and the weight of cars, emergency vehicles, and pedestrian crossing? Will the bridge be wide enough for emergency vehicles and pedestrians to cross at the same time? Can the soils on these grounds hold a massive 41-unit, 5-story complex made of tons of cement? What other exit to come out of this complex will there be for these residents if there is a fire? What is to prevent residents from climbing the complex walls and trespassing onto Vega Street residents? And with the removal of trees and vegetation, what is the impact on the environment, the ecosystem, noise pollution, air quality, and natural water runoff? No doubt all of these factors will be hazardously impacted. And once these items are eradicated, there is no way to revoke the damage. The process for the CEQA review has not been observed. Full denial to the current project application is the only proper way to go. Submitted by Ms. Connie Arambula.
Erica, is that it, or you have more?
The next one is from Clyde Jim. Dear San Gabriel Planning Commission, I am writing in to officially file my official protest with the last-minute decision and the last-minute notification to the public email sent out to me at 5:08 p.m. May 11th, 2020, regarding the decision of San Gabriel, which authority of San Gabriel is fully apparent at this point, to have the staff to not read out the public comments into the record during the hearing, May 11th, public comment, public hearing item 8, 235 South Arroyo Drive, as was prior officially and promised to the public. This is not proper protocol. At such last minute, the Honorable Planning Commission Chairman and fellow commissioners are not going to have enough time to read in private all these emails before the hearing, thereby causing these voices to be muted against your earlier guideline information provided to all of us, the public. Just for the record, I am asking the Honorable Planning Commission Chairman and fellow commissioners to officially and opening state on record if they have indeed fully read all the nearly 100 emailed public comments that are being filed but not going to be read. As I can see, the great majority of the emails that have had a chance to be read out into the record are against the project with rationales. By not reading out the emails into the record at the hearing, as was earlier announced to the public, if item A were to be ruled in favor of project applicant in spite of all the objections, this ruling would be very much clouded and open to challenge. I would also like to officially ask who did make this decision at such last minute, and how was that authority being paid? Please have this read out loud at the hearing. By Jim. One is from Elizabeth House. Dear Planning Commission, I strongly object the approval of planning case number PL 14136, track map number 61475 and variance VAR 19002, and I object and oppose the variance allowance for side and rear yard setback reductions at 235 Royal Drive. I contend that it violates general plan use element goal 1.3, which sets standards for new homes that respect the scale of their surroundings. Visual 3D Google view of the project clearly shows that the monstrous scale with respect to the surrounding residential communities within and adjacent to the specific plan area. The homes in the adjacent Alhambra Vegas Street neighborhood are small, one-story low-density homes with less than 1,000 square feet. In stark contrast, the Plan 235 South Arroyo Drive, one of the tallest buildings in San Gabriel, and the surrounding Alhambra area with extreme high density to allow a building of this enormous scale and disproportionate size, the special privilege of variances for side and rear setback reductions is adding insult to injury to those of us who would be overshadowed by this large development. If you vote against the long-established San Gabriel zoning standards and allow variances for side and rear setback reductions, you are allowing the proposed Arroyo building to further encroach on our beloved Alhambra neighborhood. Not only is the 235 South Arroyo project highly disrespectful to the scale of its surrounding neighborhood in violation of general plan use goal 1.3, balance of setback reductions, variance disregards the objections brought by the affected Alhambra neighborhood. To conclude, the Planning Commission must reject the 235 South Arroyo Drive setback reduction variance request. A granting of rear, side, and front yard reduction variances request will violate general plan use element goal 1.3. Thank you for your time and consideration. Elizabeth Householder. Good evening, members of the Commission. I am against the following. Item 8, Arroyo Drive, for the following reasons. Number 1, San Gabriel should remain a bedroom community. People should be offered a quiet, non-congested place to live. Number 2, San Gabriel ranks near the top for the population and density in the San Gabriel Valley. Increased development equals overcrowding. Number 3, if another pandemic were to occur, there is strong evidence to suggest that the projects promote the spread of pandemic. Number 4, there will be added stress to the emergency services, fire, police, paramedics, etc. Number 5, traffic congestion causes pollution and safety issues. San Gabriel already has safety issues concerning walkers and cyclists as traffic has increased. A further increase in traffic congestion will amplify these issues on both boulevards and residential streets. Number 6, there will be added stress on parking facilities, causing shoppers and clients to park on residential streets. Number 7, the projects will cause an extreme demand on the sewer system, water, gas, electricity, and school services. Anna Bateg, Julia. Okay, the next one is from Feng Ling Jiang. Good evening, Planning Commission Chairman and Planning Commissioners. My family live on Vega Street, immediately adjacent to 35 South Arroyo Drive. I understand nearly all the Alhambra neighbors have a lot of problem with the project and had fighting the project since years ago. I am just informed of the last-minute decision, not clear by whose authority, for the staff at the Planning Commission hearing to not read out into record any emails sent out to object the project. This is in total contrary to what was being notified and promised to the public. Listening to the live audio on YouTube and listening to all the minimization of severe impacts exerted on the Alhambra neighborhood by project staff It makes St. Gabriel's decision to not read our earlier submitted emailed public comments also seem suspicious. Read out the emails because their voices of objection need to be heard by your full honorable panel before an educated decision can be made. Feng Ling. Matt Chang will continue.
Hello, Commissioner. This is Matt Chang, giving Eric a little break. So for the next several emails, what staff is going to do is those emails are part of the supplemental packet, which is posted on the city website, and I send it to the commissioner for your copy, so everybody has a clear copy of what was written. So if you want to see the entire email thread, you can see the city website. But what staff is going to do is read the name of the speaker that submitted comments as part of that supplemental packet, also their position. So staff got like 60 of them, so bear with me. So again, for those that are listening, so what staff is going to read is the email submitted as part of the supplemental packet, but staff will be only reading the name of the submitter, also the position. If you want to see what's submitted, you can see it is available on the city website.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Matt.
The first one, sorry?
Matt,
sure. Yes.
Matt, hang on. Yeah, I just want to ask you a question. What I'm hoping, we've already heard quite a few from Erica, but is someone tabulating? So by the time you're done doing what you're going to go through, which is reading the name and then the position, is someone actually tabulating, including the ones that Erica read, those who are opposed versus a handful that might be in favor, so that as commissioners, we have a general idea of the total magnitude, at least when you're done?
Yes. So Jackie and Erica, they're listening too. So they will be doing a tally, so hopefully write down the name. So we will try to avoid that person kind of abuses submitting it twice for public comments. So thank you,
Right.
Jackie and Erica, for doing that.
Okay, thanks.
So can I proceed, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. The first comment is from Angie Chu. The position is supporting the project. The second comment is from Andrew or Andy Cole. The position is opposing the project.
Matt, I'm so sorry, I'm going to interrupt. This is Armina Shaparian, the Community Development Director, Assistant City Manager. Because we have over 60 messages that staff needs to read into record, which, as Matt mentioned, have all been received prior to the meeting, have been posted on the city's website. They've been provided as a supplement. I did have a suggestion for the chair, and it's merely a suggestion, and Norma, you can chime in if you think this may be okay to do. I'd like you to give staff that's in City Hall an opportunity to tabulate the messages and maybe be able to have group them and then go through and read the names and the position. Would it make sense for us to maybe give staff a chance to do that, and we can maybe look at the other two items on our agenda this evening and then come back and have staff go through and provide a comprehensive summary of the comments?
That's a great idea. Because I don't, a couple of the emails that Erica read, I have to agree with, what some of the residents were saying, irrespective of what city they're in, and actually challenging, have we read all of them? And, the honest answer is, I know I haven't. And I'm pretty sure my colleagues would feel the same way. I've gleaned a bunch of them, but I haven't had enough time to go through all of it either. So, I'm just getting a sense and an idea of all of this is good. I look at listening to all of this, you know, there's a couple of things that are very apparent too, and I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here. We're still in the public hearing process, but I'm sort of, two things are kind of bothering me. One is, Armene, it's the western setback, and I've been studying the plans, and I'm wondering, could it be increased? So that's question one. That's just from me. And then the second one is, with respect to the total height, could we lower the parking deck so that the whole mass comes down a little further? I know that the height is technically compliant, but it's still bulk and mass. And if that came down, then, you know, even if it could come down 8 feet or 9 feet, look, and I'm sure there's cost involved with the water table or whatever if the wash is in peak, you know, flow mode or whatever. But maybe that's something, you know, just think about these two items, and then probably should allow David Gutierrez and his team to be able to come back. They may have looked at these things, but those are sort of 2 points that I'm looking at.
Yeah, and if I can just add, I think in terms of, you know, just reading support names and who's in favor and who's not in favor, I think the more important thing is the substance of the comments. And, you know, they're certainly part of the public record. And I just want to remind the commissioners that, you know, and I know we're in the public comment section now, but, you know, the option, you know, there's going to be questions and there's going to be issues that are raised today. Denying or approving are not the only option. You know, there could be approving with certain amendments or continuance if there is a need to process the issues or address questions that are being raised in the public comment section or piece of this. So I think, you know, if we want to move forward and go ahead and give staff that opportunity to do a synthesizing of the public comments, I think that's fine to be able to come back with additional questions. But it's really up to the commissioners in terms of where they're feeling prepared or informed enough to move forward with the questions and discussions at this point.
You're raising something I was already, as I was listening to this, I do want to read all of this. There's not enough time tonight, and so continuance was something that came up, and I don't know where we'll be with you know, COVID-19. And I mean, this is a big item. This is an important item, and a lot of people are frustrated that they think it's by not being, you know, seen, that's detrimental also. And who knows if we could extend 1 month, you know, I don't know where would we be at. Could we be meeting in a larger forum, you know, the San Gabriel Civic Auditorium, so you get proper physical distancing, but what have you. I don't know, and I'd like to hear from my colleagues too, and get their, and again, back to the applicant team, you know, again, those 2 questions to me, it's kind of, it's one of the setback variances. I'm personally not as bothered with the one on the north because it's very close to where, you know, it is today, but it's the sort of the western edge one with the homes on Vega. And then the other one is the perception of the bulk and mass. And I appreciate what David Gutierrez said about they have already eliminated the floor. They have cut that. They have done reduction. They've been looking at this thing for 5+ years. So I appreciate all that. I get that. I know the truck haul routes and all of that is going to be, you know, governed through the city of San Gabriel, et cetera. But gosh, it seems like there could be opportunity to at least improve one of the setbacks, and then, you know, what could you do to bring down a little more of the height by submerging the parking garage. So again, I'd like to just go around, Tom, maybe start with you, and just get your read opinion and let Armine, Matt, and everybody else hear it.
Yeah, Norm, I agree with what you're saying. I think something we need to really take into account and look at is how can we lessen the impact on the neighborhood? You know, you've got incredible math, you know, coming straight up, you know, within the what would have been approved setback, and especially on that west side, like you were saying. And I also see that as impacting the neighborhood more than anything. So I really think we need to take a look at that. You know, how can we have a smart development that's going to improve our housing situation here in San Gabriel without being a detriment to our neighbors in Alhambra. And then also, you know, obviously there's people in San Gabriel too who will be impacted on this, who live on the Arroyo Street. So yeah, I think this needs to. I think this. I agree with you. I think this could fit. We need to do some homework. There's a tremendous amount of correspondence that's come in the last day. You know, and these people need to be heard. So let's give them time to hear them. That's where I'm coming from.
Thank you, Jingbo.
Yeah.
I agree with Norm, your assessment. I think my initial reaction to look at the product, I thought it was the massing was quite large, and in terms of the number of units for the site, actually it's not bad. We're roughly about 30 units per acre, but the massing was you really look at the buildings is a 4-story plus a garage and 5 stories. But I think the product was getting a lot of consideration towards to the Alhambra Wash that way, and Arroyo Drive. That from that end the setback a lot. I'm actually out to for the side to and also I was looking at the adjacent elevations, especially from a Mission Drive and the Las Tunas and Main Street side. It's really they are all significantly college buildings, so the impact to the surrounding neighborhood from a distance is not as big as to the west side of the Alhambra neighborhood. You look at that elevations and the height was that's where the rear set reduction setback reduction was applied. So that was the biggest impact to those neighbors. There is effectively 3 stories above the ground level to the adjacent the single family home, and also this continues the wall. I feel that was quite a impact to the Alhambra side of the single family home. And you're right, we are in the COVID-19 pandemic situation. This is a large project. So through the telecommunication, I felt it was not adequate to review it. So it's my take on that. There's a room to improve. I think there's a room to improve. The number of units is not bothers me. It's the mapping as how it's articulated to the site. It bothers me.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that. Anand?
I'm going to concur with everything that's been said, but one of my concerns is though the west side variance and the elevation difference between the neighbor and the property, the project property. I guess I didn't get a chance to see in the report if there's any mitigation measure in how to protect the neighbors on the west side being so close, as well as, you know, allowing them to continue to enjoy the backyard. Means reading through some of the and skimming through some of the emails that were sent, I see there's an image of the building massing behind someone's house, and it's like, okay, is this true or not? I mean, it'd be great to get a little bit more information, as well as giving the residents and our neighbors an opportunity to speak in person.
Yeah, thank you. And then Jerry?
Yeah, when going through the final plan, the mitigated negative deck in the final plan, you get a sense from the comments, sort of a preview of all these comments that we've gotten tonight. And I think that we have to weigh those, and I think, Norm, you have expressed them well. So I'm okay with you know, trying to see if we can get some of these answers.
Yeah. So thank you, Jerry. Armand, and look, I'm looking, and gosh, I know you might want to confer with, or maybe listen to David Gutierrez too, but I would propose that we continue this item. And I think, you know, you can hear from the commissioners, I think, certainly the western setback and then the bulk and mass. And I honestly, from my perspective, I think it's a unique site. It's an interesting project. Jingbo sums it up well. I'm not terrified by the number of units, but I think, and if David and his team could be open to it, there could be some ways to maybe increase that that western setback, and also bringing the building down without losing the basic foundation of the design, which looks pretty decent. And then hopefully, I'm not sure you'd make everybody happy, but I think it would definitely mitigate and improve the overall development.
Chairman?
Yes.
Chairman, this is Jerry Gorse. You know, I was going to just throw out there as a possible suggestion that when we clarify that the public hearing, the public comment period for this hearing has been terminated. That's where we are in the stage of the meeting tonight, and that if you are going to consider a motion to continue, that in addition to the issues that you expressed, that you perhaps just direct staff to collate the comments that have come in during the time that public comment was open, and we can provide those to the Planning Commission in a collated form so that you could see all of the comments that were made and have time to digest it prior to the next meeting.
Yeah. I just want to hear back from both Armand and from the applicant, David Gutierrez too.
Chairman, I think what our interim planning manager suggested is where I was heading. I think there are definitely a lot of comments, and we certainly want to do our part in getting all of that information to the commission. We have made it available on the city's website. We've provided it as a supplemental, and this is not a new project. It has been in the works for a long time, actually, prior to, I think, all of us, maybe with the exception of Mark Gallatin, who may be on the call this evening as well. I think the rest of us have come to it more recently. I think the commission is absolutely in its right in wanting an opportunity to absorb the comments, going through it, and certainly staff will be able to synthesize that information for you. I think we are here to answer any specific questions you may have now. I do think that if you'd like to give the applicant an opportunity to make any comments, and should you decide as a commission to continue the item, we would certainly work with the commission to bring the item back. I did want to make a comment that in light of where we are with the pandemic and when it comes to public meetings, I don't anticipate that we will have public meetings in the format that we all think of prior to all this, where we're in a city hall setting or in a theater setting. I think it's going to be a while until we're able to have that formatting. So what we are doing tonight may be kind of our pseudo normal for the next few meetings. So please bear with us. I know this is extremely challenging, but we are certainly trying to do our part in conveying the information to the commission, to the public, to our applicants. So we wish it was simpler and that in the next meeting would be in a different format, but this may be the case for a little while. Hence why we did not want to postpone commission meetings any further, because we know we have projects that are in the pipeline and we need to bring them to the commission. So if this item or any item is continued, please be aware that our upcoming format for the next few meetings may be similar to what we're doing tonight. So we will do our best to kind of guide you all through that along with the public and our applicant. But I do not foresee that our upcoming future meeting or meetings may be in a different format. It may be similar to what we're doing this evening.
Got it. And that's fair comment. I understand. And, look, public safety is first and foremost. So that's the root for all of this. But hey, the public hearing portion for this particular item is still open. So I would like to at least give an opportunity for David Gutierrez to speak on behalf of the applicant. And then, but I think it's appropriate that after he's done that, we're going to make a motion to continue the item. We need more time. David, would you still like, and David, would you still like to address the commissioners?
Yes, Chair Garden, I appreciate that opportunity. There's several things that I want to say without trying to be long-winded. As you know, my background on Planning Commission and City Council, it's always important to be open to the concerns of the community. And certainly members of the community have a distinct right to have their concerns shared with as a part of the public hearing process. That being said, I think it's also fair to realize that in the case of this developer, there has been a continued indifference to the opinions of some of the comments that we received and heard this evening, as well as a part of the submitted comments, that this developer has historically been very, very willing to try to accommodate the concerns of the community about specifically the size, the massing of this project, hence seeing those reductions in size. And you bring up a good point about the potential or possibility of further reductions. Certainly that may be true. However, then you begin to cross the threshold of the taking of certain rights and opportunities that the developer has that are basically granted as a part of the vision of the city's general plan and the current zoning allowances. I think the staff has done a great job of documenting the rationale the variances should be granted. As we all know, variances aren't arbitrarily granted. There have to be certain findings that are made. Findings have been made. As recent as year, it was determined that the overall height exceeded the maximum height allowance. For that reason, plans were relooked at, and the overall project was reduced by 6.5 feet. So, which entailed a 2-foot reduction of the parking structure and 1 foot reduction. So there's a significant history here and for the willingness of the developer to continue to satisfy the concerns of the community as well as comply with the zoning code. So that being said, based on my experience, I'm thinking that you know, certainly we appreciate the opportunity to provide our part of the supporting argument, but I'm probably thinking that irregardless, you and the commission are headed toward continuing this, and we will do our best to try to look at whatever last-ditch available opportunity there is in reducing the project size without further compromising the rights of the developer.
Yeah, okay. Yes, all right, David, thank you very much for that. So I'm going to now close the public hearing portion for the 235 South Arroyo project. And I guess I need to indicate a time, so 8:48 p.m. Is the public comment portion closed. And I just want to go back around with my colleagues, my commissioners, you know, Jerry and I, Jingbo, Tom, just, you know, give me a quick yes or no that continuing is the right thing to do right now. And Jerry, why don't you give me a quick yes or no?
Yeah, continuing is fine for me.
Okay, I'm now.
Yes, continuing.
Okay, Jingbo.
Yes, I will add to it. I think that there is a room to improve without compromise the number of units and square footage, but there's a room to improve. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And then Tom?
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's continue.
Okay. So, okay, I need Norma and Jerry. Matt, help me here. Do we make a motion to continue the item to what would be, I guess, June something? I don't know the date.
I would suggest that if you want them to look at aspects of the project you've raised concerns about, that you at least extend it for 60 days.
Oh, for 60 days, so take it to July then. Okay, I think
to the regular July hearing.
Yeah. Okay. So I think really critical is if there was a way. We're not talking about changing the unit size. Not even really talking about changing the layout. If you could push the project, slide it to the east, so you could just improve the west setback, and then if there were subtle ways of lowering the parking garage so that the whole project could come down, if you will, into the ground a little bit, it could also help to mitigate the bulk and mass. Again, commissioners, does that sound right?
Yeah, Norm,
yes.
That's what I was thinking also.
I think the major issue is the rear yard, the west side. That was the major concern.
Yeah. Okay. So, is that enough clarification?
Yes, but we need a motion and a second to continue it for the July hearing.
Okay, I'll make the motion then to continue this item. Bear with me. So this is Yeah, so planning case number CL-14-136 with variances 19-002, inclusive of tentative track map number 161475. Excuse me on that, 61475, and setback variance. This is for the address of 235 South Arroyo. And to continue this for 60 days to the next scheduled Planning Commission meeting set in July, and then to really consider improving the western setback, and if there are means and methods to be able to just lower the total height of the building. And those are probably the two primary issues. I could have a second.
I'll second that.
I'll second that.
Okay, we'll run with Tom's name. Thank you. So we'll have a roll call vote. And,
Yes, Chairman Garden,
aye.
Vice Chair Twitter.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Mamdapur-Carr,
Aye.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Aye.
It's 5-0, motion carried.
Okay, and then for, there's probably a lot of people still hanging in there wondering, can somebody at least give the July date?
Commissioner, this is Matt Chen. July day will be July 13th, second Monday of July. So it's
Okay,
July
great.
13th.
Wonderful, thank you. 6:30 p.m., July 13th. Okay, so with that, we move forward to our second public hearing item, which is planning case number TMAP 19-023, tentative track map number 73548, the address of 860 East Valley Boulevard. The applicant is Celia Harianto with EGL Associates, and providing the staff report will be made by our management specialist, Mark Gallatin. Mark?
Good evening, Chairman Garden, Vice Chair Klewitter, and members of the Planning Commission. It's my pleasure tonight to be presenting to you this project at 860 East Valley Boulevard, a mixed-use project, and before us tonight is a tentative track map for subdividing the airspace within the 49 residential condominium units and the 9,145 square feet of retail uses on the ground floor. By way of background, this project may elicit a little bit of deja vu among some. February 9th of 2017. And what happened was that that project, after being entitled, the tentative map that was approved on that date expired, and the applicants failed to seek an extension in time. So they were forced to file the current application for a new map, which they did on December 6th of last year. The new tentative map will allow the subdivision of airspace that will permit both the residential units and the commercial units to be sold individually, with a common area governed by the owners association. If we can move to slide number 2, you will see the location of the project. Which is on the southwest corner of Valley Boulevard and Charlotte Avenue. And as you can see from the map on the right side of that slide, it is in the Valley Boulevard specific plan area in the MU-C, which is the mixed use corridor zone. Next slide, please. The next slide will show the surrounding uses to the site, so you get a sense of compatibility there. oh, I'm sorry, the next slide, I believe, is the project rendering. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
It's the project rendering. As you can see, a very attractively designed 4-story mixed-use project that complies fully with all the requirements of the Valley Boulevard specific plan. If we could have slide number 4, please. Slide number 4 is the site plan. Again, as you can see, retail uses on the ground floor, parking located both behind and below the development, access off of Charlotte, no driveway on Valley Boulevard. Next slide, please. The next slide indicates the surrounding uses, so you get a sense of the compatibility of this project with its neighbors. And as you can see, being located just 2 blocks east of San Gabriel Boulevard on the south side of Valley Boulevard, it's bordered primarily by commercial uses on 3 sides, several food uses, a couple of banking and financial services uses. It's important to note, too, that the middle of Charlotte Avenue on the east is the boundary between our city and Rosemead. And then you have some multifamily residential south of the project on Charlotte. We could see slide number 6 now. Slide number 6 gives you 3 bullet points there of how the project is compatible with the city's general plan. 2 goals out of the land use element having to do with mixed use and the transformation of Valley Boulevard into a mixed use corridor. And then 1 goal from our housing element to promote and encourage the provision of adequate housing to meet the community's needs. Slide number 7, please. Because the project is located in the Valley Boulevard specific plan area, our next slide will indicate how it complies with that with the land use strategies of the specific plan, which you can see there, policies 1.27 and 1.36. Next slide, please. Before I jump into the environmental review, yes, thank you. If we could stay at slide 7 for a moment, I want to mention 2 things that the applicant's representative brought to my attention just briefly before the meeting, having to do with conditions of approval to comply with the Valley Boulevard specific plan. Specifically, condition number 26, which has to do with solar hot water production. The actual construction plans call for photovoltaic panels on the top of the building, which will provide solar electricity, which will then power the water heaters for the project. So it's technically not solar hot water production as the condition states, but I think it's compliant with the spirit, if not the letter of the condition and the goals of the Valley Boulevard specific plan vis-a-vis sustainability and green building. The other condition I wanted to bring to your attention was number 156, which is a fire department condition, and that has to do with the applicable codes on this project. And turning to that, if you look at condition 156, it mentions starting at letter J and running through letter M, the 2019 versions of the California Fire Code, Building Code, Mechanical Code, and Electrical Code. And actually that should read 2016 versions of those codes, because that was the code under which the project was entitled and under which the plan check occurred. and the building permits were issued. And so they now have vested those rights as far as the building permit goes. So I just wanted to point those out before we move on to the next slide and talk about environmental review. Now, when this project had been considered originally by the Planning Commission back in January of 2017, staff had prepared a mitigated negative declaration and an associated mitigation monitoring and reporting program. Those documents were reviewed and adopted by the Planning Commission on that date in 2017. Because this project is identical to the one that was approved then, and therefore there are no new or more severe impacts that can result from this project, no additional environmental review is needed per the CEQA guidelines. I have attached to your staff report a copy of the MMRP, the Mitigation Monitoring and Reporting Program, which listed 21 mitigation measures. The reason it's attached is just for information only, because as I was going through and starting the research to prepare this report, I discovered that the previous approval had a condition of approval that the MMRP was supposed to be copied onto the construction set of drawings. When I checked those drawings, the MMRP was not there. So I wanted to make sure that the commission got it as a piece of information and attachment to this report, and I will work closely with the applicant's team to make sure that those do get copied onto the plan check set of plans. Next slide, please. This slide explains what was done in the way of public notice as required. All properties within a 500-foot radius, all property owners rather, within a 500-foot radius were mailed a notice. There was also a large poster notice posted on the project site as shown in the photo. The agenda for tonight's meeting was posted at City Hall, the post office, and the public library, and the notice was also published in the San Gabriel Sun on April 30th. We could have the next slide, please. Next slide, slide number 10, lists the tentative track findings, which you will need to make in order to approve this map. I won't bore you by reading each one, but those are all the findings that are found in our municipal code under subdivisions. And if we could see slide number 11. So to conclude, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution approving planning case number TMAP 19-023, a tentative track map to allow for the condominium subdivision of 49 residential units and 4 commercial units at 860 East Valley Boulevard, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the Commission may have.
Okay, Mark, thank you. I'll start with Jerry if he's got any clarification questions. Jerry?
Yeah, my only question, you said there's 4 commercial units. I want to verify that, please.
Yep. Yes, sir, 4.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my only question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Anag?
Has this project gone to City Council for a developer agreement?
No, there was no developer agreement associated with this project.
Okay. No other questions at this point.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Jimbo?
So the submitted package, I see that it's dated 2019. So the tentative track map was approved on January 23rd, 2017. So is there any change from the initial tentative track map approval, or is it the same, identical?
No, it's identical to the previous one.
Okay, no question.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, thank you. Tom?
No questions here.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. And
Mark,
hey, Mark.
I will say it's good to hear Mark Gallatin again. Welcome back.
Thank you, Tom. Much appreciated.
Oh, here.
No, I have no questions either. And actually had a chance to go visit the project site, and nice big hole in the ground and quite a bit of construction going on. So good to see. So with that, thank you, Mark. And then I don't know if the applicant is here. Would they like to come forward, address the commissioners? Now's their opportunity to do so.
Yes, Chairman Garden, we have the project architect and the project civil engineer joining us tonight.
Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Adele Chang with LCRA Architects, and we're the architects for the project. And I don't really have anything to add. I just respectfully ask the Commissioners to go ahead and approve this previously approved tentative map. And I'm also available for any questions, as is the civil engineer who filed the map.
Very good. Thank you. Hey, commissioners, you guys have any questions? Looking good right now, or?
No questions for me.
No
Thanks,
questions.
Tom. Okay, Jerry. Anag, Jingbo?
No question.
No question for me.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much. And then I'd like to open it up to other members of the audience here. And so I'm looking for Erica's help here if she has received any public comment items on this item right now.
Hi.
Excuse me, Chairman. Erica, before you get started, Chairman, it would be good to identify the time and close the public hearing comment so that Erica has an ending point for the comments that she's going to start to read.
Okay, so the reading of the public comments is commencing at 9:09 p.m.
Okay. So when we got with Anna Battaglia, it reads, "Good evening, members of the commission. I am against the following. Item B860 East Valley Boulevard for the following reasons. Number one, San Gabriel should remain a bedroom community. People should be offered a quiet, non-congested place to live. Number two, San Gabriel ranks near the top for the population density in the San Gabriel Valley. Increased development equals overcrowding. Number three, if another pandemic were to occur, there is strong evidence to suggest that types of projects promote the spread of pandemics. Number four, there will be added stress to the emergency services, fire, police, paramedics, etc. Number five, traffic congestion, pollution, and safety issues. San Gabriel already has safety issues concerning walkers and cyclists as traffic has increased. A further increase in traffic congestion will amplify these issues on both boulevards and residential streets. Number six, there will be added stress on parking facilities, causing shoppers and clients to park on residential streets. Number seven, the projects will cause an extreme demand on the sewer system and water, gas, electricity, and cable services." And that is all for public comment.
Okay, all right. Erica, thank you for that. And now I'd like to, if there are no more other public comments, which it sounds like there are none, to close the public hearing portion for this item, and the closing time is 9:10 p.m. And basically just open it up for commissioner dialogue. So Jerry, I'll start with you.
Overall, if this project's already been approved one time, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't approve the map so that the project can continue. I don't see, my concerns were with the commercial portion mostly, and, you know, I heard there were four units, so as far as I'm concerned, they can move forward.
Got it. Thank you. Anand?
I'm in concurrence with my fellow commissioner. The project's already started. We should just continue to honor our agreement with the project team and just to make sure the project moves forward and hopefully gets built very soon so we can add the additional inventory into our city as well as to our RENA numbers. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Jingbo?
I concur with other commissioners. There's no point to add more conditions. It's already under construction. Just let it continue, finish it.
Yep, thanks. Tom?
Yeah, this is, I think I said it 3 years ago, I'll say it again. This is a handsome development. It needs to keep going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I concur with all of you. And Marcus said it well. It fits very well into the Valley Boulevard specific plan as well. And, you know, we went through all the details before. So with that, I am going to just make a motion here to adopt the resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Gabriel, California, approving planning case number TMAP 19-23 for a tentative track map number 73548 to allow for the 49-unit residential condominium and 9,145 square feet of retail use at 860 East Valley Boulevard, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. So, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Jackie, you get to pick one.
I heard
Let's
Tom.
give Jingbo this one.
We'll give it to Jingbo.
Okay, Jingbo gets this one.
Accept that. Jingbo, second. Vote, Chairman Garden.
Aye.
Vice Chair Clowitter.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Mamdapurkar.
Aye.
And Commissioner Schwartz.
Aye.
Vote is 5-0. Motion carried.
Very good. Congratulations. And hey, I do want to make one comment. It looks like a pretty clean job site, so keep that going. Looks great. All right. Moving along here to our third public hearing item, which is planning case number TMAP 20-004, a tentative parcel map number 73908 for the address of 230 South San Marino Avenue, and the applicant being Mary Chow of SM2 LLC. So providing the presentation is Mark again. All right.
Well, hello again, and like our prior project, this is another case that had previously come before the commission and been entitled, in this case in November of 2016, and it is a tentative track map for the subdivision of a 4-unit residential condominium development. The project was approved, as I said, in November of 2016. The tentative map was set to expire in November of 2018. However, the applicant took advantage of requesting an administrative extension, and that was granted per our municipal code for 1 year until November 14th of 2019. However, when the applicant failed to seek an additional extension, they had to file the current application for a new map. As with the previous project, this map is identical to the one that was previously entitled in 2016. And if we can see the next slide, please. here is your vicinity and zoning maps. You'll see that this project at 230 South San Marino is located mid-block on the east side of San Marino Avenue between Del Marino Place and Broadway. To the west is a single-family neighborhood. To the east, north, and south is a rather extensive multifamily neighborhood that stretches all the way from San Marino Avenue eastward, past Del Mar, all the way to San Gabriel Boulevard. As you see from the zoning map, this project and its immediate surrounding is zoned R3. Next slide, please. Here is a project rendering of the 4-unit development. And as you'll see with the next slide from the site plan, these 4 units consist of 1 detached unit at the front, and then 2 units attached to each other at the middle, or a duplex, and then a single detached unit at the rear that mirrors the one at the front. So there you can see the site plan and how that lays out, and also where the open space is located and the driveway is located on the south side of the site. Next slide, please. And here is an aerial photo that I think shows you in a little better detail the boundary that San Marino Avenue forms between the single-family neighborhood along Wedgwood and Live Oak and Broadway to the west, and then the denser existing multifamily neighborhood east of San Marino Avenue. Next slide, please. Here is the policies and goals of the general plan with which this project complies. A land use goal regarding sensible transition of properties in multifamily neighborhoods. A housing goal dealing with the expansion of the housing in accordance with land use designations and policies in the land use element. And then 2 community design goals to create an expectation that the city will accept nothing less than the highest quality in architecture, landscape design, and in streetscape. And then to create designs that live and breathe with San Gabriel's neighborhoods as they themselves live and breathe. We could go to the next slide, please. And unlike the previous project, this one is not within a specific plan area, so there's no slide about specific plan compatibility. The environmental review, in this case, the project is categorically exempt by virtue of the fact that it is a subdivision of property into 4 or fewer parcels. That's Class 15 exemption under the CEQA guidelines. Next slide, please. Again, the public noticing done for the project. Notice is mailed to property owners within a 500-foot radius. A notice posted on the project site is shown in the photo. The agenda is posted at City Hall, Post Office, and Public Library, and the advertisement noticed in the San Gabriel Sun on April 30th. Next slide, please. Again, the 7 findings is required by the municipal code on subdivisions, whether they're tentative parcel or tentative tract map findings. And if we could have our next slide. So to conclude my report, Staff's recommendation is that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution approving planning case number TMAP 20-004, a tentative parcel map to allow for the condominium subdivision of 4 residential units at 230 South San Marino Avenue, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions the commission might have.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Let's start with Jerry. Jerry, any clarifying questions?
I have a particular problem with this thing, with this tentative map. People always ask me why projects take so long, and these are the kinds of things that sort of delay them. So it will be good to get this thing going.
Okay, great, thank you. Anag?
Similar to my fellow commissioners, just like to see this project continue to move forward.
Got it, thanks. Jingbo?
Yeah, same. I saw the pictures. They're almost done. Get it done.
Yeah, it is almost done. Tom?
Yeah, I have no reservations.
Yeah, same here. So, look, Mark, again, I don't know if the applicant is available. If they would like to say anything to the commissioners, now's their opportunity.
Yes, I believe we have Cynthia Chow, who is representing the applicant in this case.
Hi, good evening, commissioners. I am requesting that you guys approve the map as previously approved, and we are almost done. We have been working on it since the building permit approval was given, and we are almost there. So we hope that you can approve our map as approved before. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, now it is 9:23 p.m. and I'm turning this over to Erica again. Do we have any comments, public comments that have come through?
Yes, we have one from Anna Battaglia. The following were her concerns. Number 1, St. Gabriel should remain a bedroom community. People should be offered a quiet, non-congested. Number 2, St. Gabriel ranks near the top for the population density in the St. Gabriel Valley. Increased development equals overcrowding. Number 3, if another pandemic were to occur, there is strong evidence of projects promote the spread of pandemics. Number 4, there will be added stress to the emergency services, fire, police, paramedics, etc. Number 5, traffic congestion causes pollution and safety issues. St. Gabriel already has safety issues concerning walkers and cyclists as traffic has increased. A further increase in traffic congestion will amplify these issues on both boulevards and residential streets. Number 6, there will be added stress on parking facilities, causing shoppers and clients to park on residential streets. Number 7, the project will cause an extreme demand on the sewer system and water, gas, electricity, and cable services. And that is all for public comment.
Excuse me, this is Cynthia Chow again. I wanted to comment that in our project, we similar to the previous project to ours, that the conditions of approval, the new ones refer to the 2019 fire code, and similar to the previous project, I believe we should be referring to the 2016 code as they were entitled improved.
Okay. And then
Chairman Garden, this is Mark Gallatin again. So noted, and we'll make sure that that gets corrected in the final version that is put in the case file.
Very good. Okay, thank you. And then Erica, you have no other public comments, do you?
No, that was it.
Okay, so then the public hearing portion for this item is closed at 9:25 p.m. And now just kind of let's look, I don't need to go through each and every one of you. If you're all good with this, that's great. If there's anything you want to bring up, just speak up. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. I'm making a motion here to adopt resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Gabriel, California, approving planning case number CMAP 20-004 for a tentative parcel map number 73908 to allow for the condominium subdivision of one lot for 4 units at 230 South San Marino Avenue, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so we heard Tom, and then Jackie, the
Vote. Chairman Garden,
aye.
Chair Cloeter,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Mamdapurkar,
Aye.
and Commissioner Schwartz.
Aye.
It is 5-0, motion carries.
All right, go finish that project. Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
That was very close. They're not far away.
Yeah, that is close.
Okay. Jerry, anything from the city planning manager perspective, anything to address us or make us aware of?
No announcements this evening, Chair. I just wanted to thank everybody for doing such a great job with our first our first mobile planning commission meeting, and all of the nuances of a teleconference meeting that you guys did a great job. So anyway, thank you very much, and we'll hope to bring more cases before you in the next couple of months, and I'm glad we've got our maiden voyage already out of our way.
Yeah, no, thank you.
May I step in?
Yes.
Actually, I'd like to step in. I actually wanted a moment, if you would please indulge me. I wanted to take a moment and actually recognize our chair this evening, because this may very well be his last meeting as a planning commissioner and as our chair. We will be recognizing him next week at the council meeting, but I thought it's only appropriate that we take a moment, and I sincerely wanted to thank you for being a great commissioner, a great chair. My understanding is you have been serving on our planning commission since November of 1999. That's quite an investment you've made in the city, and you have been an amazing member of our team as a commissioner and as a chair. And I did want to say that I've worked in different communities, but I think, and I've worked with different commissioners, but Chair Garden, I think the reason you stand out amongst all of the different folks I have personally worked with is I think your objectivity, your ability to give each project, each applicant their time to present their facts. And on behalf of community development, on behalf of the city, we sincerely want to thank you for your years of service. It's a huge commitment that each of you puts forth in having this role, and you've done an amazing job of it. I think it's important to recognize that. Congratulate you on making this decision to close one chapter and continue pursuing the things you want to pursue. And just a sincere thanks. And for the rest of the commission, we will be recognizing Chair Garden next Tuesday night at our telephonic council meeting. But I thought it would be only appropriate that we also did it this evening. If any of you would like to say any words, I'd like to give you an opportunity to do that as well.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Arne.
Hey, Norm, this is Tom. It's really been a pleasure working with you, and fortunately we knew each other before the Planning Commission, and and all the years that we've been together, and just trying to get some sensible development in the city, and you are the word of reason. And honestly, your architectural background has really been a help for me, and I'm gonna miss you. It's been a lot of fun. We do work, but we do have fun too. And whatever you've got in front of you, I'm sure you're going to do well, and it's been a real pleasure. Thanks, Norm.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thanks.
Hi, Norm, it's Jingbo. Well, thank you for providing such a guideline ever since I joined the committee. And when I first joined in, I was very inexperienced. It was my first commissioner's job. You really made me feel ease and pleasant, and your professionalism is always admired. Well, thank you so much, and good luck for your next venture.
Norm, it's going to be hard. This is Jerry. It's going to be hard to imagine the commission without you, because you've been a great chair and a great leader, and the things that you see in projects always amaze me, and we will miss that. We will miss your experienced eye and the way you view projects, and also the way you lead the commission. But good luck to you in the future.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jerry.
Chair Garden, this is Anug. I really appreciate your leadership on the commission. I mean, I can also emphasize that you had a keen eye in bringing out different viewpoints that I think helped shape and guide our City of San Gabriel's building, as well as a lot of our other projects that went through. You know, while you won't be on the commission, we know where you live, so we'll be seeing you around.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Anand. Thank you. I would like to just take a couple of minutes to thank everybody too. Armine, thank you in particular. And I've really, gosh, time has gone by very fast, and I've watched this city and grow. And I mean, the only other guy probably, if he's still on the line, is Mark Gallatin, and would remember.
Still here, Chair.
Mark, 99, and just the amount of progress and the various guidelines and the dedication of lots of people have put into basically creating sort of a homegrown general plan that, you know, it's going to go through its next round or cycle, etc. I've been very, very lucky and very blessed, and really have enjoyed the ride. And particularly, I think the last kind of 3 years to my colleagues, you know, Tom, you and I have been together a little bit longer, but really enjoyed this kind of very collegial, if you will, group. And I think we bring a lot of different character and perspective and hopefully professionalism to everything. And Tom, as you well said, you know, have a little bit of fun in the process while doing so. So really appreciate all this. You know, and Armine, look, I don't know, you know, if you need me for another month or two, I'm okay, but it's up to you guys. Because I think I can't get on an airplane right now anyway. So I'm stuck.
You're going nowhere.
Well, we are actually kind of on the tail end. I think the city clerk's office has now received the applications for all of our commissions, and we are hoping, again, crossing my fingers, that we will be able to have commission interviews hopefully in the beginning of June. But we may take you up on your offer, so just stay tuned. We just don't know at this point. And since I'm on the line, I did also want to take a moment to let the commission know. I know we've had quite a bit going on with the pandemic, and all of that has really affected everything we're doing. So we had to extend the timeline for the planning manager recruitment. It has closed. We have received a number of applications. We are literally in the midst of reviewing the applications to figure out the next steps. Of course, with the public health order still somewhat in place, we need to follow that and figure out how we will do interviews, whether we conduct interviews again using some form of alternative communication. That's still what we're figuring out now. In the meantime, you've had an opportunity now to meet Jerry He's been a significant help to us and will be with us for the next 2 months almost. And of course, Mark Gallatin, who thinks he's retired, but we keep pulling him back. And I will forever be grateful to him for his willingness to step in and help us out. So you're all in good hands. Just please bear with us. It's a lot of changes. We're navigating through it with all of you by our side, but we will do our best to bring everything forth to commission and not to let anything affect that. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to give you a few of these updates. And unless Matt has anything else, that concludes, I think, our updates from staff's end.
This is Matt.
What do we do with the notebooks?
I'm sorry?
What are we doing with the notebooks?
You can, this is Matt Cheng. You can leave at the front door. Staff can go pick it up tomorrow and Wednesday.
Okay, good.
Okay, so just leave it on the front porch or whatever. Okay. I will, just in case, I may keep some of that 235 South Arroyo. But yeah, the notebook will be sitting there then, okay?
Yes.
Armine, Matt, and Jackie, Matt, I also went ahead and signed what needed to be signed at the end of some of the consent calendar stuff. So when you pick up my notebook, you can just take it out from there, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Gosh, I think, Armine, I got one last favor to ask of you. Just do me a favor and just send me a link and the time for the city council thing next week, okay?
Absolutely. You are on my list of folks to contact.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. And thanks to everybody. I guess one last little item here. If there's any other commissioner comments or any conferences, which I doubt, anything, or are we good to close?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't have any.
Being nothing, then it's 9:38 p.m. and we will close the tonight's San Gabriel Planning Commission hearing to the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission, which will be on Monday, June 8th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. Probably the same format we did tonight. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.